with every other. So welcome to all of you once again. And today we have with us Brother Tendulkar ji, National Lecturer of the Indian Section. Brother Tendulkar ji holds a BSc Honours degree and a Master's degree from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. He also holds a Bachelor's degree in Law. In his professional capacity, he has worked for government and private sectors and also as visiting faculty and project guide in management institutes. We all know Brother Tendulkar is a veteran theosophist from the Pune Lodge. He joined the Theosophical Society in 1979. He served as the secretary of the Marathi Theosophical Federation and the president of Pune Lodge. He was also editor of the Theosophical bi-monthly magazine, that is Jagriti, Vishwa Bandhutva. Brother Tendulkar ji has conducted numerous lectures, workshops, and study camps across India at various lodges and federations. He has worked for the propagation of theosophy tirelessly. Brother Tendulkar ji's insightful talks, they are a great help to many seekers to further their understanding of the theosophical teachings. So we are really privileged to hear him. And I now welcome Brother Tendulkar ji and invite him to begin today's study session. Namaste, sir.
Thank you, Vibhaji. On person concept in the first series of Letters from the Masters of the Wisdom by C. Janaraj Das. Earlier, I was to cover all letters, but since we have covered some of the earlier letters from letter number 16 onwards, I won't repeat those letters to avoid duplication. And today I go over to letter number 23, because the last letter which we covered earlier last December was letter number 22. Today we will deal with letter number 23, which is written to Mohini M. Chatterjee. You know, he was from Bengal and Kerala, known as Babu Mohini. And this letter is written to Brother Mohini by Master K.H., in which it has been said, whether you are on the right track or not, if sincere, you will succeed, for I will help you. So, Mr. Mohini Chatterjee was a Chela, but not fully advanced, and he had many drawbacks which he had to overcome. Clear perception was also wanting. Confusion as to whether he was on the right track or not, was there. And taking into consideration his confused mind, here the master is assuring him that taking into consideration his sincerity, in applying himself to the task given to him, he did not him of success for which he was there to help. The element of greatness and which in you ought to be shown in the stern resolution with which you can go forward to your aim through all obstacles and overbearing all opposition. So, task ahead for Babu Mohini was not easy. There were all kinds of obstacles and opposition. But the point in favor of Mohini was that he had the strong mind. He possessed that power of mind which is the element of greatness. That is what the master says. Within you ought to be shown in the stern resolution. So what was needed was an ability to turn his power of mind into stern resolution without any kind of confusion, suspicion in mind about the success, about the outcome of the mission that undertaken. He had that element of greatness in the form of his mental or psychic power. But he was lacking in a stern resolution and confidence to go forward. Because the obstacles and opposition were coming in the way of his being confidently face them and overcome them.
Sir, we are not able to hear the audio. I think it will be a good idea if you can close the video and just allow that audio to come. I think we have lost Brother Tendulkar ji's connection here. Yeah, please excuse for this interruption. We'll try to get in touch with Tendulkar ji once again.
Yes, in mobile you can go on with a
So please bear with us a few more minutes. Brother Tendulkar ji is trying to connect on through his mobile, and he should be with us shortly.
हेलो, हाँ ज्वाइन किया ना, ज्वाइन करिए। नहीं, आप व्हाट्सएप में क्लिक करिए ना, व्हाट्सएप जो मैसेज दिया था। हाँ, नहीं जो नेब, हाँ तो आपका लोड बहुत है। आपका मोबाइल में क्या हो रहा है? आपका जो मोबाइल है ना, इसमें क्या हो रहा है? नहीं, उनका मैडम का नहीं होगा। आपका मोबाइल में क्या हो रहा है? आपका आपका मोबाइल में। हेलो, आप थोड़ा नेट आपका बहुत स्लो है तो इसलिए नहीं हो। आपका जो जो आदमी आपका जो नेबर है ना, वो भी कनेक्शन में है। सुनो, हाँ
फिर भी वो आ नहीं रहा है।
हाँ, आगे आगे आप अभी स्टार्ट करो। यस, नाउ इट इज कम अप।
Now it is audible. Is it audible now? हाँ।
आप वीडियो बंद कर दीजिए।
ओके ओके। वीडियो बंद कर दिए, अभी ऑडियो खाली।
अभी ऑडियो में
हाँ,
स्टार्ट करिए।
ओके। Now is it audible?
यस यस, कंटिन्यू।
Okay. So shall I continue?
यस सर, कंटिन्यू प्लीज।
Okay. So brothers and sisters, sorry for the technical problem which we are facing in communicating with you. So we were discussing about the letter from KH to Mohini M. Chatterjee, in which a small letter indeed, he has given a kind of support and assurance to Mohini M. Chatterjee to enable him to face all kinds of obstacles and oppositions which he was facing. So this is what perhaps a lesson which we as theosophists or theosophical workers learn, that we may face similar situations, but if we are sincere and determined to carry on our work in the face of all obstacles and opposition, there is very good possibility that we would succeed. So it is a matter of reciprocal response, which is always there from the masters, if the disciple or pupil shows the initiative to act from his end, one who is lacking that kind of initiative and enthusiasm, masters really are helpless. They cannot do much to inspire and to bring forth the potentialities of the disciple or the pupil. But if that initiative, that faith, that confidence is there, and if the pupil is determined to work to the best of his ability, best of his potentialities, then response is bound to come from the other end, and the pupil will experience that his strength is enough to deal with all kinds of obstacles and opposition, even though in the initial stage, one might feel that they are beyond his capacities. So one has to be mentally strong, has to have unshakable faith and confidence and readiness to act. Action on the physical plane coupled with strong determination, confidence on the psychic level, and faith and sincerity, which is a requirement or prerequisite for the help to come forth from the spiritual plane, from the masters. If that is there, then there is abundant possibility of succeeding in the task undertaken by a pupil. That is in a nutshell. I think this letter conveys a message to us to act. She received her letter from you but did not find mine. This is हॅलो हॅलो हा मी एका मीटिंग मध्ये आहे ऑनलाईन लेक्चर चालू आहे तर मी तुम्हाला परत कॉन्टॅक्ट करतो नंतर So let us move on to the next letter, letter 24. This is a letter to a chela. It has not been mentioned, the name of the chela, perhaps for obvious reasons, that the nature of the letter is not like many other letters which are written by the masters. Generally, masters are more suggestive in their approach. They give only hints and a reasonably prudent and sensitive pupil will be able to learn from those hints and suggestions. But it happens in rare cases that the pupil may not be receptive at all, may be totally insensitive to the kind of hints or suggestions or messages tried to be conveyed by the masters from the higher subtle levels, which require a sufficiently developed intuitive power to grasp those. And where the pupil lacks that ability, masters are helpless to help the pupil. That is what we will see in this later. It begins saying, so then, you really imagine when you were allowed to call yourself my chela, that the black memories of your past offenses were either hidden from my notice or that I knew and still forgave. Here, you see the letter, as I mentioned, is addressed to chela. So, when seeing this, the person, the recipient of the letter, will be very happy if he is really deserving that privilege of being a chela. But here the recipient is a person whose past record is totally disappointing from that point of view of being conferred with this merit of chelaship. Therefore, the master says, the black memories of your past offenses. This gives us a clear indication of the kind of person this so-called chela happened to be. And therefore, on that background, master says, you might imagine when you were allowed to call yourself my chela, that those past incidences, or rather offenses, were either not noticed by the master, or having noticed them in the past, the master has now forgiven in spite of those offenses committed by the so-called chela. Therefore, master clarifies to remove this kind of presumption on the part of the chela or the pupil, and says, did you fancy that I connived at them? Master is reading the mind of the person. It's very easy for the master to know these things, but difficult for the master to convey these things to the pupil. That we must bear in mind. So what the pupil fancies is very clear to the masters. But how the master's perception is may not be clear to the pupil. Therefore, master says, did you fancy that I connived at them? Did I keep all those things deliberately out of my sight and knowledge for the present? And to remove that kind of doubt or chance on the part of the master. Master calls him foolish, foolish, thrice foolish, he says. It's not so. I cannot either neglect it or forgive or be unaware of that. None of these possibilities can exist. The past incidences were so grave. It was to help save you from your viler self. And Master gives the reason for this unexpected sort of privilege conferred upon him of being called a Cheta. Why it was done? It was to help save you from your viler self. It is the lower self of the pupil, which was so strong and dominating that it was overshadowing the higher self. It was to help save you from your viler self, to arouse in you better aspirations. Master could understand that with such a strong lower self, such a dominating lower self, it will be difficult for his higher self to make any impact on the pupil, to arouse in him better aspirations. This can happen if one has that sensitivity to listen to the inner voice, voice of the higher self, which was unlikely in case of this pupil, because he had such a black record of evil acts, which had covered and hidden any expression of the higher self through physical manifestation. To cause the voice of your offended soul to be heard, he calls it an offended soul, because he never bothered to listen to that dim voice of his higher self. And in that sense, it was an offended soul. But nevertheless, it was now time for him to bother to listen to that dim voice. It was necessary to learn from that voice, to give you the stimulus to make some reparation. It was high time for the pupil to make reparation, to change himself, to improve by amending his past record. This kind of conscious thinking and action in that direction could have been possible only by stimulating that tendency to become inwardly oriented and being careful enough to listen to the dim voice of the offended higher soul. For these only your prayer to become my chela was granted. His prayer was that Master should accept him as a chela. And surprisingly, though he did not deserve it, Master granted that request to become chela. Why? Reason is clear. To stimulate him to pay attention to the dim voice of his higher offended soul. There was otherwise no possibility that he will find this road inward, opening himself to his higher self. So it is a very special case, we can say, where the request of a pupil to become and to accept him as a chela by the master is granted, and for which this explanation has been given, because it should not be misunderstood that master can forgive such things or master can neglect such things. No, it can never be that. He has to be mindful of his past, because it is that past which has erected all kinds of obstacles in his way. He is himself responsible for getting stuck up on the way to progress, on the path of becoming Urbi Chela of the master. So it was to take away these obstacles, the hindrance on the path, that master rather tried his way to call him a chela, with the hope that it will provide the necessary stimulus to open up this inward way, which was otherwise not likely to happen in case of this Urbi Chela. Master saw the necessary potential in the seed form in this pupil. However dim it is, Master gives full justice to a person who has that potential. We are the agents of justice. Master is here making it clear why he is so liberal in his approach to the pupil who is aspiring to become a chela. We are the agents of justice, not the unfeeling lictors of a cruel God. Base as you have been, wildly as you have misused your talents, blind as you have been to the claims of gratitude, virtue, and equity, you have still in you the qualities of a good man. Dormant indeed so far. So here master is very clear in extending maximum justice to an aspiring pupil. He is the last one to refuse opportunity to an aspiring pupil to become a teacher. And the only reason for this is there is still in you the qualities of a good man. In the whole darkness that covered the personality of this pupil, master could see that ray of potentiality, the light in the midst of total darkness, and decided to give an opportunity to this pupil. This man, his record is very clear from what the master is describing. He is minting no words in putting on record what this person has done. Base as you have been. He is calling him base. Base as you have been. Wildly as you have misused your talent. Master sees the talents hidden within. But the person has not used those talents in the right channel for the proper purpose. He misused it. How he misused it? Blind as you have been to the claims of gratitude, virtue, and equity. There was ample scope on the basis of what he had received from the master in the past. It was quite natural that he should have been grateful. He should have been virtuous in his response. But nothing came out from his end, from the end of the pupil. He was blind to the claims of gratitude, virtue, and equity. Such a miserable record he had. You have still in you the qualities of a good man, in spite of this past. Master is saying something in opposition to all this past, in his present. He sees the dormant things, the qualities of a good man, and ability to become a useful chela. But how long your relations with us will continue depends alone upon yourself. Master has rather taken the step towards a pupil here, in spite of the disappointing, discouraging actions on the part of the pupil, simply because he had that ingredient of becoming a good man and useful chela. Though not immediately, in the present or near future, but definitely in distant future. Provided he learns from this response and opportunity given to him. Therefore, Master says, it depends alone upon yourself. How long your relations with us will continue. This is a kind of warning also, that this kind of gesture which Master had shown will not be repeated again if the pupil does not make reparation and change himself in his attitude, approach, and action. You may struggle up out of the mire or glide back into depths of vice and misery, now inconceivable to your imagination. So Master is depicting before his mind the possible outcome of the gesture shown to him. Either in response to this gesture, he may struggle up out of the mire. Presently, he is deep into the mire, in a hopeless condition, perhaps. Though to the Master's sight or vision, there is hope, because of whatever exists in him as a potentiality in the seed form. Even though presently he is in the mire, he has to come out of that. He has to make struggle, strong efforts with determination. And if he does not do that, what may happen? You may glide back into depths of vice and misery. That is an inevitable alternative which he has to face, which is now inconceivable to your imagination. Master rather warns him that how so far you may stretch your imagination, you may not be able to really imagine what your fate and condition would be if you don't make reparation, if you don't make changes by correcting the wrongs which you have already committed. All that is inconceivable for your imaginative faculty also. And therefore, you have no other Hello? फोन आला होता का? अच्छा. So, I will just wind up this discussion because the time is up. This will be followed by Hindi translation. We will continue this next week, next Friday, same time. I thank you for your kind listening, brothers and sisters, in spite of the intervention and problems, technical problems which we faced in communicating to you. I thank Pradeep Mahapatraji, Vibhaji, and the audience for this opportunity I got to express my views on some of the important letters of masters which we are discussing. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Vibhaji. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. No, it is our privilege that we are able to hear from you and get your insight into these letters. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Vibhaji.
And now I request Sister Meenakshi ji to give us the translation in Hindi.
नमस्ते सभी को. थैंक यू सिस्टर. थैंक यू ब्रदर तेंदुलकर जी. आज हम लेटर नंबर 23 और 24 ले रहे हैं लेटर्स फ्रॉम द मास्टर्स ऑफ विजडम से. लेटर नंबर 23, यह पत्र मास्टर के एच मोहिनी मोहन चैटर्जी को लिखते हैं. मास्टर कहते हैं, दृढ़ता से प्रयत्न करते रहे और भले ही सही दिशा में हो या न हो, यदि आप सच्चे हैं, नेक हैं, तब आप सफल होंगे. मैं आपकी मदद करूंगा. आपके देश को मदद की आवश्यकता है और आप में वह मनोशक्ति है जो महानता का प्रतीक है और जिसे आप में दृढ़ संकल्प के रूप में दिखाया जाना चाहिए, जिसके द्वारा आप सभी बाधाओं और जोरदार विरोधों को अंत तक पार करते हुए आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. प्रयास करें, प्रयत्न करें और आप सफल रहेंगे. अगले पत्र में मास्टर के एच एक चेला को लिखते हैं कि जब आपको मेरा चेला कहने की अनुमति दी गई थी, तो क्या आपने सच में यह कल्पना की थी कि आपके पिछले अपराधों की घोर स्मृतियां मुझसे छिपी हुई थी, या मुझे पता था और फिर भी मैंने माफ कर दिया? क्या आपको लगता है कि मैंने उन्हें नजरअंदाज कर दिया, अनदेखा कर दिया? मूर्ख, महामूर्ख. वह आपकी निकृष्टता से आपको बचाने में मदद करने के लिए था. आप में उच्चाकांक्षाओं को जागृत करने के लिए, आपके आहत जीव की आवाज सुनाने के लिए था, आपकी कुछ सुधारना करने के लिए, प्रेरणा देने के लिए था. केवल इन्हीं के लिए मेरा चेला बनने की आपकी याचना कबूल हुई. हम न्याय, सत्यता के एजेंट्स हैं, अनुयायी हैं, न किसी क्रूर देवता के निर्मम चापलूस. आप जितने दुष्ट रहे हैं, उतने ही नीचता से आपने अपनी प्रतिभा का दुरुपयोग किया है. आप कृतज्ञता, सद्गुण और निष्पक्षता के दावे के प्रति अज्ञ रहे. आप में अभी भी एक सच्चे, अच्छे आदमी के, वास्तव में जो अभी तक निष्क्रिय है, और एक उपयोगी चेला के गुण हैं. लेकिन हमारे साथ संबंध कितने दिन तक चलेंगे, यह सर्वस्वी आप पर ही निर्भर करता है. संघर्ष करके आप दलदल में से बाहर निकल सकते हैं, या बुराई या दुख की गहराई में वापस फिसल सकते हैं, जो अब आपकी कल्पना से परे है. याद रखें, आप अपनी आत्मा के समक्ष खड़े हैं, जो आपका न्यायदाता है और जिसे न तो कोई मुस्कान, न झूठ, न ही कोई कुतर्क धोखा दे सकता है. थैंक यू. नमस्ते.
Thank you, Meenakshi ji, for the translation. And now I invite any questions or points of discussion from the participants. Tendulkar sir, I have received a question, not on the current letters, but in the same section from letter number 20. So this question has been put forward by Brother Sharma ji from Ujjain, and his question is regarding the diamond pen. In that letter, it is mentioned, I will read out that statement. It is mentioned that there are innumerable pages of your life record still to be written up, fair and blank they are as yet. Child of your race and your age, seize the diamond pen and inscribe them with the history of noble deeds, days well spent, years of holy striving. So he has requested to throw some light on what is meant by diamond pen. This was in letter number 20.
Pardon, Vibhaji, time and what you said? Time and space?
that last sentence is, child of your race and of
Yes.
your age, seize the diamond pen and inscribe them with the history of noble deeds, days well spent, years of holy striving.
Sharma ji wants to know
The
what?
meaning of diamond pen.
Diamond pen. Okay. Here the it is the reference to the diamond soul. Thank you. I can see the slide. Child of your race and of your age, seize the diamond pen and inscribe them with the history of noble deeds, days well spent, years of holy striving. So here Master is referring to both the working of the law of karma, where we have so many incarnations in the past full of karma, which we performed right or wrong, but mostly these pages are filled without knowledge of the law of karma, or where there is knowledge, we are not very conscious that everything, right or wrong, good or bad, is being kept record of, and we have to do justice to what we have ourselves done. So past has already happened, and we cannot wash it away. But there are yet many pages to be written. They are blank, fortunately. And we have the freedom, choice to write those pages with our diamond pen. Whatever has been written so far is by ordinary pen of our personality. Now it is the individuality which has awakened, grown, advanced, and now if the evolution in future is taken in hand with this diamond pen in hand, then we can rewrite the history. We can do away with whatever wrongs we have committed and write the future pages with the history of noble deeds, days well spent, years of holy striving. This we could not do in the past, but there is a future ahead of us. And whatever be the past, it is possible for us to outweigh the effects produced by the causes of the past by the new causes which we will create in future through our noble deeds. by spending our days well spent, that is, living for not for the self, but for others, for well-being of others, for betterment of others. So these will be the years of holy striving. We will not waste our time and life in doing things losing sight of the purpose for which we have incarnated. We will do justice to the opportunities which are coming our way. Will not run away from the challenges and difficulties and problems, but face them squarely, smilingly, and make the best of those opportunities. Take everything as an opportunity which our past has offered. It is not the pain, suffering, sorrow that is the result of the past. The result is new opportunities. We have to take responsibility for whatever we have done. And higher the responsibility we take, greater will be the opportunity that will be offered by the occult law. That is what is meant by writing, seizing the diamond pen and inscribing our future in those pages. That future will be bright. We need not worry about past. So,
Thank you very much, sir.
10 years.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Imraji. Yes.
Any other questions do we have?
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Yes. May I know who is speaking? Because hello? Somebody responded to your appeal?
Yes, sir. It was Brother Sharmaji who had raised this question about what is the diamond
Yeah,
pen.
Sure,
And
sure.
at this point, I would just like to add one more thing which came to my mind, that in Buddhism, diamond is a symbol of insight, pure insight, and it symbolizes pragya. They also have the diamond sutra, which is called the Vajra Sutra. So this diamond, it is here referring to the sixth principle, the awakened pragya. And he says that the future pages of life, if we can live by unfolding this pragya, instead of living from the mind, we have to unfold this pragya, which is the diamond pen, and write the pages of our life with that. So automatically it will bring in all the qualities of love and holy living and spiritual endeavor. So that was just what I wanted to add.
Yeah. Vivaji, you have explained very well.
Thank you, madam, very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other point or question? If not, then we can conclude today's session and we will continue the study from this section in next Friday.
Yes.
So Pradeep ji will close the session.
Yes.
Right. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Sarvesham Swastirabhavatu Sarvesham Shantirabhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Lokah Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Namaste and thank you all for joining.